Hello everyone, my name is Tanisha and today I am going to be talking about the history of camera and video camera. As we all know, cameras are very widely used. We have it in our phones, we have very high-tech cameras used for filming, photography and many more. But have you ever really wondered what was the first camera ever made? So I have taken it upon myself to do some research and I would like to tell you about it. One of the very first cameras ever made was the camera obscura in 400 BC. It was basically a very dark chamber which had a very small opening through it which allowed light to enter the room and it projected an image. Now, this image was usually inverted from left to right and up to down. And this was a way for artists to trace their images. Next up, we have the heliograph. It was invented in 1822 by Joseph and it was the world's very first exposure camera, but it had its limitations. The image took a very long exposure time. Next up, we have the daguerreotype process. This was invented in 1839 and it was a way to create very highly detailed and unique images. And it solved one of the problems that we had with the previous camera, which was it not only reduced the exposure time but it also improved the quality of the images. Now how this worked is essentially there was a silver coated copper plate which used to go under lots of processes with bromine vapors and mercury vapors to create this very unique, one of a kind, highly detailed photograph. Next up, we have the Gyrox daguerreotype. This was a camera which used the principle of the previous photograph that I explained. This was invented in 1839 by Alfonso and it was the first commercially available camera for the daguerreotype process. Next up, we have the calotype. The calotype was invented in 1841 by Henry Fox Talbot. In this process, we used paper negative to create multiple positive prints, and it was a major advancement over the single image daguerreotype. Next up, we have the wet plate photography in 1851. Now this was a way in which coating a glass or metal plate with a light sensitive solution and exposing it while it's still wet helped develop an image immediately. Next up, we have the Kodak camera in 1888. This was the first commercially successful camera to use roll film. It came preloaded with a 100 exposure roll of flexible film. George Eastman was the innovator and the founder of Kodak. It was very affordable, user-friendly and very simple to operate. And after the film would be completed, it would be sent to the company where it would be developed, and for a very small fee, you could get a new roll of film and your developed film. Next up, we have the Brownie series. The Brownie series was in 1900 and it was a part of the Kodak company. This was a very cardboard box looking camera with a simple convex concave lens. Next up, we have the Kodachrome film in 1935. This was the first color film. It was the first commercially successful color film and it was widely used for both still and motion picture photography. It was known for its vibrant, naturalistic colors, high contrast and excellent stability. It used a subtractive color process, which is the wavelength of lights are blocked by emulsions of layers for controlled and accurate print. Next up, we have the Polaroid Model 95 in 1948. This was invented by Edwin H. Land. It was a unique film system that contained light-sensitive crystals, polymers and chemicals to develop images immediately after they were clicked. Users would manually release the film, which means they would take a photo, the film would be given out, and then when they pull it out of the camera, the chemical packets within the film would rupture. After a minute, the user would peel apart the positive and the negative to reveal the finished product. Next up, we have the first SSR. Now you may ask, what is SSR? SSR, the full form is single lens reflex. It was invented by Thomas Sutton in 1861 and it used a mirror and prism system. The first integrated 35 mm SLR was the Exacta, which is the photo that we see right here. This next photo that we see here is the Polaroid SX70 in 1972. This was the first folding single lens reflex and also introduced integral film. Next up, we have the Fuji DSX in 1989. Now this camera worked on a very different principle as the cameras that we have seen before. This worked on a DSLR. Now you may wonder, what is DSLR? DSLR is digital single lens reflex. We have just heard about the SLR, so I will give you a little bit of comparison. So the difference between SLR and DSLR is that the SLR uses film. So it is a film camera, and the DSLR is digital. It uses digital sensors for the films. But one similarity between them is that they both use mirror systems to direct light from the lens to the viewfinder. This camera that we see right here is the Dicam Model 1 1990. Now this was the first commercially available portable digital camera. It utilized semiconductors memory card to store images. Now this camera that we see here is the Kyocera Visual Phone VP210 in 1999. This was a very revolutionary idea as it had built-in camera, and this phone that we see here was the Samsung SCH V200, which was in June 2000. So these last two cameras we see here are I would say the stepping stones towards modern cameras and phones. A very quick recap. The very first camera was the camera obscura in 400 BC. Following that, we had the heliograph in 1822 and the gyrox daguerreotype in 1839. Then we had daguerreotype in 1839. Then we have the calotype in 1841 and wet plate photography in 1851. Then it is the start of a few of the Kodak company cameras. The first being the Kodak camera in 1888. Following this, the Brownie series was launched in 1900. And following this was the Kodachrome in 1935, which was the very first colored film. Following that, we have the Polaroid model 95 in 1948. Then there was the invention of the SLR, the single lens reflex. Following that, we had the Polaroid SX70 in 1972. Then we had the Fuji DSX, which was a DSLR and an update of the SLR. Then we had the Dicam Model 1 in 1990. And then we had the Kyocera Visual Phone VP210 in 1999. And then we have the latest one that we saw, the SCH V200 in 2000. This concludes the entire timeline from 400 BC to 2000s. Next up, we have the history of the video cameras. The very first invention for the video camera was the Nipkow Disc in 1884. This was a mechanical image scanning device which was used in early mechanical TVs. A rotating disc with a spiral of holes used to break down an image into a sequence of lines and points, allowing for transmission and reconstruction of image. So using this method, the very early television sets were being made. Next up, we have the iconoscope in 1923 by Vladimir. Now, this was an early electronic camera tube that used to convert an optical image into electrical signals. It used photosensitive mosaic plate scanned by electron beam to generate electrical signals corresponding to the image's brightness level. This was a step up from the earlier one that we saw. Next up, we have the image dissector in 1927. Now this image dissector converted light from an image into electrical signals by focusing light onto a special plate that emitted electrons. This was a very, I would say, revolutionary idea, and it helped propel people to find better ways to improve this. Next up, we have the Bolo H16 in 1935. Now the Polo H16 was a lightweight, precise, robust and a very unique camera, and it had a wide range of facilities. It had high quality of optics, zoom lenses and simple operations. Next up, we have the Orthicon or the Image Orthicon in 1945. Now this was known for its stability and ability to handle a wide range of light values and contrasts. It had good image quality even when the lights were very low, and it had 3 sections: image section, scanning section and electron gun multiplier section. This device would convert light into electrons, which were then scanned by a low velocity electron beam and amplified by an electron multiplier. Next up, we have the Vidicon in 1950. This device worked on the principle of photoconductivity. A thin layer of a photoconductive material on a transparent conducting surface acts as a target. When light hits this layer, its resistance decreases, allowing electrons to flow and creating a signal. An electron beam scans the photoconductive target, reads electrical variations which are caused by light impact and produce video signals. But there were limitations to this device. It had very low resolution and it was prone to blooming. Now blooming is when there will be an overexposure of very bright areas. Next up, we have the quadruplex videotape in 1956. The quadruplex videotape was the first practically and commercially successful analog recording videotape format. So, it was a 2-inch wide magnetic tape. Revolutionary as first recording medium available to TV industry before motion picture films. So, it was quite a genius invention, I would say. And it uses 4 magnetic records / plays, head mounted on a head wheel spinning transversely across the tape at a high RPM. And this device had variations. The format had 3 types of variations: low bandwidth, high band, which is higher bandwidth and higher resolution, and super high band, which was better time base, better stability and tape. Next up, we have the Plumblicon in 1963. It was introduced by Philips. It offered higher resolution, lower image lag, reduced trailing artifacts and improved signal to noise ratio. The photoconductive target was now made of lead oxide. It became the standard for television cameras, particularly in color. Next up, we have the CCD in 1969. The CCD the full form is charged coupled devices. It was an integrated circuit containing an array of linked and coupled capacitors. Under control of external circuit, capacitors can transfer its electric charge into neighboring capacity. CCD sensors were major tech. The image sensors and pixels were represented by p-doped metal oxides, semiconductors MOS capacitors. This allowed conversion of incoming photons into electron charges at the semiconductor oxide interface. The CCD is used to read them out. This was used in professional medicine, scientific applications for high quality images. In less demanding quality, active pixel sensors CMOS were used. Next up, we have the Sony Mavic in 1981. This was the world's first electronic still video camera. It worked on the principles of CCD. Next up, we have a camcorder. The photo shown behind is the Sony Betamovie BMC110 in Betamax format. This was in 1983. It was the first commercially available device to combine a video camera and a video cassette recorder into a single unit. A single camera recording unit helped eliminate the cable between the camera and the recorder. It allowed users to record and play back videos more easily than the previous ones. Next up, we have the Handycam. This was in 1985. This was a very big invention and it contrasted all the larger shoulder mounted cameras, as it was, as the name suggests, handy. It was very small and compact and helped in a lot of mobility when filming. It had various functions. One of the most important and I think personally fascinating is night vision, in which it used infrared light emitting diode and an infrared filter that is mechanically attached and detached to the sensors in order to enable the camera cord to record video footage in complete darkness. Next up, we have the XD cam, which was invented in 2003. So now it's getting a bit recent. It was a series of products for digital recording using random access solid state memory media. Next up, we have the P2 in 2004. This was introduced because it had a solid state memory card system. It was reliable, high speed, solid state digital recording, and a very key feature was that it had multiple card slots for continuous recording and swapping of memory cards. Next up, we have the AVC HD format 2006. It was introduced for high definition camcorder. It also had the HDR SR1, which was the first high definition hard drive camcorder which recorded in the AVC HD format. Now, as you can see on the screen, this is a timeline of the history of video cameras. So we start from the very start, which is the Nipkow Disc. The Nipkow Disc was invented in 1884. Following that, we had the iconoscope. After this, we had the image dissector and Bolo H16. Following this, we had a series of invention, which was the orthinocon or the image orthicon, the vidicon, the quadruplex videotape, and the plumbicon. Following this, there was the invention of CCD, and using CCD, there was an image camera developed in 1969. Following the CCD, there was the Sony MYCIVA in 1981. Then we had the Sony Betamovie BMC110 in 1983, which was the camcorder. Following that, we had the Handycam in 1985, then the XO cam in 2003, the P2 in 2004, and finally ending at the AVC HD format in 2006. So as we can see, throughout the years there have been so many amazing discoveries that have helped us develop the technology and bring us to the point that we are here today.